Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of No Tea.
Just coffee.
And my name is Tam, and this is
Jordan.
Today's episode, or the meat and potatoes, we're going to discuss in sickness and in health. But that doesn't necessarily mean like in a marriage. That can be in any type of relationship and or a friendship.
Definitely.
In sickness and in health, like what exactly does that mean? What does that entail? Um, that's the topic. That's the meat and potatoes, as Jordan likes to call it. And as the other episodes later on, we'll get into some shit. We will be shooting the shit. Okay, excuse my language, kids. But all right, well, let's get into it.
Let's get into it.
In sickness and in health. How do you feel about that? Like your thoughts, like with this topic.
I think with this topic, I think generally we correlate it to
A marriage.
And your vows.
Mm-hmm.
But we never think of it as something that is not just between a partnership, a husband and wife, or a husband and a husband, or wife and wife, or whatever the case may be. It's also your friends are going to go through things that you need to be there for them.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, and I think like when this topic came about, that was something that was brought up. It's like, you there's so many different relationships out there.
It is.
And if I'm down and out,
that's right.
Are my friends gonna be there? Is my best friend gonna be there? Is family gonna be not just the person that I'm with, but like if I'm sick, if I'm down, if I'm whatever, like who's really gonna be there?
Because honestly, some of my best friends that have been friends with me 15 plus years, I may experience more ups and downs with them than my husband, which is not really the case. Mm-hmm. But you got to learn how to be there for the long haul, because like one of my friends, we've been friends since elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
And we weren't really going through much in elementary school, but by the time we're in our 20s and 30s, we may experience death, breakups, just devastations, and you got to be willing to be mature enough to
be there,
be through the whole thing.
Yeah, one of my best friends, she unfortunately she had a couple of major losses. Mm-hmm. Like major losses. And for me, I'm the type of friend person where I'm going to be there.
Yeah. Me too.
I specifically remember I was actually at my brother's graduation. We were out to eat, and he goes to school 45 minutes up north, and I get a text message, maybe a call. I get some type of message from her, basically saying how one of her parents had passed. Mm-hmm. Kid you not, I dropped everything. I told my family, like, I'm sorry, I have to go.
Right.
Because my best friend just lost a parent.
Yeah.
And the thing is, my mom, she understands that because she too has a best friend who is like a sister, who I call my aunt. And that, and so she understands that situation and like just being there. And absolutely. I literally, I left and I went straight to the hospital to be with her.
And I think that's...
And sorry, let me throw in the fact.
Yeah.
She's also married. She's married with a husband, like, so it's not like she didn't have that traditional like support, through sickness and health and whatever.
That's right.
She has a husband, but as a friend, you tell me something like that.
That's right.
Ain't no question, I'm there.
Well, and to your point of having a husband, just because she has a husband doesn't mean that he deeply can support her in a way that a sisterhood can, or a best friend can, because y'all have been friends or may have been friends longer than she's been married, or you just like there's nothing like her.
Yeah.
Probably in a different way that he knows her. And I would say also, like when I too lost my mother at a young age. I was 13. And none of my friends were prepared for that.
You don't know
what are you supposed to do when your best friend loses their mom at 13?
Yeah.
So, some of my friendships, one in particular, was a little shaky at that time because I expected them to be there a little more. But then when I think about it as I'm older, she couldn't have been. We were very young. And to be fully available for somebody who lost their mom at 13 is very hard. And we've had that discussion since then, of working through that, because that was something that I felt like you should have been, but psychologically you can't at 13.
Yeah, you're right.
So I was able to lean on, like, my blood sisters and everything, and kind of work through it. But I think now that I am in my 30s, if I do lose somebody, I do expect
you have a higher expectations. Yeah.
Because we had a point in our lives where you should be there.
You should
be able to show up. And if not, explain why.
Yeah.
Don't leave it
just
unsaid.
Yeah.
Explain, because some people just don't know how to be there for you.
Yeah. That is
in
true.
Health they do, but in sickness they don't.
Yeah.
Sickness could be, I've had a boyfriend or a partner for 20 years and we just broke up. Ooh, that's sickness.
Yeah.
Some people don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know how to deal with conflict, or they're passive aggressive in some way. Yeah. That needs to be talked about too. Like, true. Because you're going to look, your friend is going to look like you've abandoned them.
Yeah.
And if you don't say, hey, I honestly don't know how to deal with it, or whatever the case may be.
But do you think that also is kind of like taught a little bit? So like, because I am the way that I am with my friends, them seeing like, oh, Tam is there. Yeah. She's supportive. So I know she's probably going to want to, right? You would think someone would would kind of pick those things up, right? You would think. That's what I said. You would think.
But there's a thing. They say that, when you go through tragedies or peaks and valleys, you see who your not your real friends are, because I
just how they will show up.
How they will show up.
Yeah.
Because I think saying who your real friends are is kind of harsh, because some people are not mature enough in that area.
Yeah, I agree.
But you do need to say, hey, I've been here for you for 15 plus years, in every single thing that you went through. Yeah. I have the same expectation. And if you don't know how to be there for me, this is what I need from you.
Now, one thing I always used to say, and I still say it, but I'm going to be honest, it's kind of hard. But I always say I cannot expect other people to do what I would naturally do.
Very true.
You know what I mean? Like what I would naturally do. I would hope that the people around me, my friends, my partner, my family, whatever, they would see that and they would do the same thing. But as I got older, I started to realize that's not the case.
That's not the case.
And I would be so disappointed. I would
every
be
time
hurt. You hear me? And even if I were to be honest, like it's still sometimes, but I have to remind myself not everyone is like me. Not everyone knows how to be there, or it's just so many different reasons. But yeah, I can't expect people to do what I would naturally do.
So health. Let's talk about the health part.
I was gonna,
if I'm having a really good moment in my life and I've supported you in all of your glory and all of the celebrations that you've had, I also expect you to support me as well. And some people don't know how to do that. Like, I am my friend circle calls me the mother. I'm very like the cheerleader. I'm there for you.
Yeah.
But what they say, you got to check on your strong friends too. You need to support your strong friends too, because just as much as I may look like the superwoman, I'm not. I need you to be my cheerleader as well, because
let me tell
go
you
ahead. Let's talk.
let me tell you something, okay? So yeah, I'm known as the strong friend.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a tough role.
Ooh. It's first off, let me just say, I didn't choose this role. I think it's just
naturally.
It is me. It's just my personality. And yes, I'm the strong friend on the outside, but honestly, I am sensitive as hell. Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. Like a lot of people always say, like, yeah, I ain't never seen Tam cry. Well, yeah, I'm not just walking around crying in front of people. But it's like I have feelings too. Yes. Like absolutely. So I want someone to be like, yes, how are you doing? Let me tell you this quick story.
She got my trait. Come on. Story time. I'm ready for it.
It's real quick. So there was one day I was having a bad day. I forget why. And actually you're a part of this story too. But
hey.
I was having a bad day and I was talking to you. And before we got off, you're like, well, hold on. You're just like, and me talking, like you wouldn't have known something was wrong. I do. Okay. Well,
Tam don't know. Okay, pause. I know when Tam is having a bad day. I can hear in her voice. That's what a real friend is. You learn your friends. You take the time to learn your friends. I may not ask her all the time, but when I get off that phone, I know something, and I know when you want to talk about it.
Yeah. And so this day in particular, before we got off, he was like, well, hold on. He was like, how you doing? And literally, like, I could probably start tearing up right now.
Don't do it.
I'm not. But sometimes.
Because I got mascara on.
I'm not going to do it.
Let me look out this window.
Not going to do
it. Don't. I got to look this way. Go ahead. Woo. Okay.
Why am I?
Let it go.
But sometimes it's nice to just be asked that question.
That's right.
And that same day, one of my best friends, randomly, random, just texted me and said the same thing. She literally was like, hey, she's like, you're always checking on me or checking on people. She's like, how are you doing? And that is when I broke down crying. Yeah. Because I was like, Lord, that's right. You knew I just needed somebody just to ask.
That's right.
And sometimes it's like, I don't need like advice or your opinion. Sometimes I just need to vent and get stuff off my chest. Right.
Yes.
And so I think, tying that into like the health part. Yes. Like with the different relationships, like, yeah, like you want to know that all people in your life are going to be there and be supportive and just check on you.
Because on an everyday, again, we talk about. It may not be drastic or dramatic peaks and valleys or ups and downs, but like psychologically, you're playing all these different roles as, you're going to work and trying to be available for work and deal with all the things that, around that. And then you got to deal with your friend relationships, and there may be things going on. And then you may have I'm married. There's things that go on there. I'm a mother too. So you're juggling all of these things, and just because you look like you're doing it well, half the time on the inside, because of how I am, and Tam was just like, something that she learned about me was I am an overthinker. Yeah. And I'm always like, am I doing this well? Is this going good? And it's nice when someone checks on you to say you are doing good, or is there something you want to talk about? Because it kind of lets some of that pressure, like a hot air balloon. Yeah. Like just let a little bit of the air out so you can relieve yourself. Because, being the strong friend, you do look like you have it all together. Yeah. But as my friend, I do expect you to check in. And I can't always be the mother of the group. I can't always be the supporter of the group.
Yeah. Or the checker inner, or whatever you want to call it. Especially if you have like a large circle. But again, it's thinking about all parties. Yeah. Like Jordan's married, right? So she got to think about her husband, and she has a kid. But then she has her close friends. And then you got to throw in like your sisters. And then you got to throw in all these things. And like, you're making sure everybody else is good or checking in. And don't get me wrong, sometimes you're going to fall off.
Yeah, you are going to fall off.
It's hard to juggle things,
That's right.
But you do want to know that you're going to receive the opposite from all parties in your life. Whether it's you broke up or something like that, or even just the actual something health related. Yeah. Like a few years ago, my ex-boyfriend now, but I had a scare. I had an outpatient surgery, and so I had a boyfriend, and he was right there with me. My dad flew in. My dad lives in Vegas. They flew in, and then my best friends were also there. So that's relating to like who's all going to be there with you through sickness and in health. Yeah, I had a boyfriend, and he should be there, right?
Yep.
But my friends was right there with me too. My dad flew in, he was right there with me too. And to be honest, like that felt good.
It does feel good.
It feels good to like know and see like you have these people that are really going to be there, for you.
I will tell you, my birthday last year.
Oh.
I'm going to start crying.
What?
I'm not. It's that time of the month. Let's be honest. I'm emotional anyway. Dang it.
Don't do it.
But I never expect anybody to really show up or do anything for me.
That's how I am. Mm-hmm.
So last year, my husband had planned a surprise birthday gathering at what's it called?
Topgolf.
Topgolf.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't expect it. Wasn't expecting nothing. And it was like, I'm about to cry. But it was just like all of a sudden, like the sun just was shining so bright that day when I saw everybody. Tam was there. Yeah. All of my closest friends who I call my sisters, my sister was there. Everybody was there that I hold near and dear to my heart. And it was like, I'm being celebrated. Mm-hmm. And I never thought I really needed that until that day. Mm. Like it warmed my heart up so much. Yeah. I was like, I love these people.
Yeah.
And I am blessed to have these people in my life. And I guess, I don't know if it's a societal norm or whatever, but I think sometimes for me personally, it's like, don't celebrate yourself too much. Like, don't give yourself too much credit. Like, don't, and that day it was like, Jordan, it's okay to celebrate yourself and have other people celebrate you.
I'm kind of opposite when it comes to my birthday. Because I'm like,
she chose everybody. It's my birthday today.
I sure do.
Now, I will say sometimes too, your friends will go through things that you can't relate to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And just because you cannot relate, or you may not be in that season. I'm going to tell you, for example, my best friend got engaged before I did. Mm-hmm. And, me and my husband, we've been together a decade. You hear me? And her and my brother-in-law hadn't been together as long as me and Alfred, but got engaged before.
Right.
And I love my friend to death. Jess was like, I thought about you because when we got engaged, I instantly thought about you, and I thought, damn it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I said, but you know what? Listen, I don't look at what you're going through. I don't compare myself. Like I'm truly, truly happy that you're engaged. And that has absolutely nothing to do because me and Alfred's story is totally different,
right?
Than you and your soon-to-be husband at the time, time story. So I mean that sometimes you have to put yourself to the side to be there, to fully be present for your friend in whatever season they're going through.
Facts.
Because I think sometimes we're like, well, I can't relate to that. Or, if they're getting married and you want to be married, but you're not in that just recognize that you're not even in that season.
You're not there.
God said, hold on.
Hello?
You got a little more work to do,
Hello?
which we did.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, a year later we were engaged. But think about what if I wouldn't have been fully present for my sister in that season of her being engaged and not happy. And then I get engaged a year later. So now I done wasted that moment.
That moment, that celebration, being there. Yeah.
Being there. So try to be present and not put yourself in every situation because it gets in the way. If if your friend gets sick, be there for them when they're sick. And if they're being celebrated for something, that's not even your journey. If they're successful in a way that you're not, but the journey is totally different, be there no matter what. Be present. Check in on them no matter what. Check in on your strong friends no matter what.
Yeah.
And I think like
that was good. Like the whole season part, that makes sense. It may not be your season. And it's not always easy to, like, some things are like easier said than done.
They are.
But yeah, it's not always easy to like not feel away or maybe have some type of jealousy, maybe, I don't know, a little bit, so yeah, it's definitely easier said than done, but I like that point of it may not be your time.
May not be your time. I will also say your partner. So for instance, personally, like my husband is not somebody that's going to talk about his feelings.
Ooh, okay.
But I've been with him long enough, and I read people very well. I know the energy then shifted.
Yeah.
So you acting like nothing wrong.
Yeah.
But I can tell that there's something wrong. But I know he's not going to come outright with it.
Right.
But I know that I need to still ask.
Yeah.
If you see it, say something. So.
And the reason why I reacted, it wasn't towards her husband.
But,
like, like, ooh, yeah.
But I mean, like, could be too.
My boyfriend, same way,
But you still, I think, something about like because they are men, we maybe expect them to not have the sensitive side of them,
right?
And that just isn't true because they may not express it the same way, but you still need to check on them.
Absolutely.
And I think sometimes we do forget that because we're in the motion of every day. Like me and my husband have been very adamant about using our time. Like when I'm cooking, my husband will help me cook, but then we also get into conversation about things that we may not have time because our schedules are so different.
Yeah.
So we check in with each other.
Yeah.
What you got going on? Is everything okay? Like, is there something you want to talk about?
That's needed.
And my husband may not want to talk about it right then and there.
Right.
Because 9 times out of 10, it's like, I'm cool. I know it's not. So then maybe by later on that evening when he's driving his truck and his mind is clear, then he'll talk about it.
Yeah, that's how my boyfriend is. There is actually and I don't regret a lot of things in my life. Actually, I don't regret anything, but I don't.
That's right.
I don't. I really don't. But this was a moment where I don't know if it's regret, but I it bothers me even still to this day. But my boyfriend had lost somebody very close, lost his nephew. And he did not take, when I say I have never heard him the way I did that time, it was bad, right? Now, also keep in mind, we don't live in the same city, so I'm in a long distance relationship. And so, he didn't, he was going through the motions, and I was making sure, I was checking in, I actually had saw him soon, shortly after it happened or whatever, throughout, checking in, seeing how he's doing, how you feeling, whatever. And then after some time, it actually kind of reminds me of something that my friend told me some time ago, but after some time, it kind of seemed like he was okay, so then I kind of just stopped a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna say a little bit. I kind of stopped.
Yeah.
And then some time passed. I could maybe even a whole year, maybe.
Yeah.
And we're sitting down talking, and I can just tell something's off. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? Everything okay? And he was still hurting about his nephew. and I didn't know. I didn't even know, and I felt so bad.
So how did you know, or how did you get into like?
Well, so at this time, I went to go see him.
Okay.
So we were in the same space, so I can just see his
like check in.
Yeah, like I could just see his demeanor. And again, this is some time after his nephew passed, and I just his demeanor and like just how he was. I was like, something ain't right. Something's off.
Yeah.
And so I used to do this thing where like I'd be like, can we have a truth moment? Like, can we just have let's have a moment of just
getting it out.
Let's be honest. Let's be transparent. Whatever. But yeah, I just saw his demeanor was off, and he was still struggling with the loss of his nephew, and I did not know. And I felt horrible. And like I said, it still bothers me that I didn't know, like I didn't sense it, or I didn't know. And I was saying how it reminds me of something that my best friend told me before. I do the same thing, where if something is like really bothering me, it could bother me for for a certain period of time. But like if you ask me like, hey, like if someone's asking, hey, how you doing, whatever, sometimes I make it sound as if like I'm over it and I'm okay, when really I'm not, and so I think that's what happened with him. And instead of me like just continuously asking, or maybe not even asking every day, but still just checking in on how his mental is doing, like I should have done that,
Well, and I think that goes into, I think sometimes too, yes, I do think, the checking in, but also not to say he's not a part of your everyday life.
Yeah.
But we do have things going on, and it is hard sometimes when it's not, the
present in your face
right.
Yeah.
Or it's been a year. For him, the hurt is still very present. Like, what's it been, 20? I don't know how many years since my mother passed. It still hurts, but it's not as painful.
Right.
And I don't expect anybody to check in about that because it's been so long. Even a year, people kind of, you just start going on with your life, and that's normal. So I get what you're saying, but that's the thing about juggling different hats.
Yeah.
It's hard to have the capacity to check in with everybody about everything that they got going on.
And I mean, I guess I never thought about it this way, and just the fact that we're not in each other's presence every day. Because if we were, I definitely would have been able to see it.
Yeah.
And just his actions or whatever. But that doesn't change the fact that I still feel bad. But I actually never thought about it that way.
And you know what? You saying that brought up Alfred's grandfather passed, I think 4 or 5 years ago. I can't remember. It doesn't seem like it's been that long. And I do need to check in to see. That was his best friend.
Yeah, I remember that.
And like we deal with the situation
they were
differently.
Really close.
Very, very close.
I remember that.
Saw him every day. Wonderful man.
Has it been that long already?
Yeah, because we lost him before we moved into this house, and we've been in this house almost, it'll be 4 years in September.
Man, time goes by.
And I haven't checked in with him in a while. Now, when he does talk about him, he still gets emotional about it.
Yeah.
So that really makes me think like you do need to check in with him because life has went on.
Yeah.
And you do forget about those things. And this conversation makes me think like I do need to check in on him because that was a huge loss for him.
Yeah.
And even though life has gone on, it doesn't mean that it doesn't still bother him in that way. So, but yeah, I think it's a hard thing to be there for your friends, make sure that you're present. Like I remember before I met Alfred and before we were very serious and now we're married or whatever, I was more present for my friends than I am now, I think, because I'm tired.
I
be tired.
I get it.
You know, like just yesterday, I have to, like, I know when I get done with this episode or whatever, like I need to check in with my friend Jess, who she just had some pictures taken for her real estate, beautiful pictures. And I wanted to talk about it last night, but when I say I was so tired,
Yes.
I said, sis, I'm gonna call you tomorrow, because you have to also take a little bit for yourself too. Like, be there for your friends, but don't exhaust yourself in trying to be there for your friends.
You know what? I just I have a friend. I be feeling so bad because I'm such like that supportive person. Yeah. I just recently had a friend who lost someone. Okay. And the timing that it happened, this is gonna sound crazy, but it was like horrible timing on my end, right? The timing that it happened, I kid you not, for 2 weeks straight, I had something to do every day after work.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
I'm talking about weekends too, right? 2 weeks straight. Wouldn't get home until late, later at night. And so I couldn't be there for her.
Yeah.
I couldn't be there for her. And it bothered me so bad that I couldn't be, because I know how upset and hurt she was. And so part of me, I was like, okay, well, I know she has her other close friends that will be able to be there and check in with her, but I know she considers me a friend too. Yeah. But Tam wasn't there as that supportive friend.
Now, have you had a conversation with her about that?
So not a conversation like I want to, because even after those 2 weeks, now, okay, let me say, I would call. Yeah. Maybe not as much as I would have liked to, but I would call to check in. But my plan was to actually go see her, go sit with her. Yes. Whether she just wants to cry, whatever, what she was experiencing, that's what she needed. Yeah. And I was able to do that. And then after those 2 weeks, when I'm thinking like, oh, okay, I have some time, I even told her, I was like, yep. I was like, after, this day, I will have time. I'm going to be out there to see you. Psych. My schedule got crazy again. So I never got to actually like just go out there and just sit with her. Now I have seen her since. Yeah. We had, we went out to lunch or whatever, but like, man, I don't know. Like those, like things like that, when I know I can't be there for someone like I want to, it really bothers me. It really does. It really does. Just because I know I'm just that type of person.
I know.
If you call me,
I know
I'm there.
And with some of our friendships, I like one of my friends lives in Texas. Her and I have been friends since we were 12. And I know I need to go see her. Now, they've been there for 7 years, or
don't get me started.
I don't know how many years, and I still ain't went out there, and that bothers me. I'm like, Jordan, you need to.
I have a friend where she lives in Texas
and never went.
I've never gone,
and we talk about it all the time. And I know she don't hold it against me. We still talk, we still FaceTime, we still keep up with each other. But I know that it's important. It's important for me to go out there now, and I need to find the time. I need to find the time to go out there. I know she doesn't hold it against me, but it's like I know this is her new home. We grew up in Indy. Texas is her new home, and I need to go there and support her. Yeah, being in this new home, this new space, this new state. Yeah. So that's something I need to do. And there's nothing, there's no tragedy, there's nothing that's went on. It's just.
But I think all of that goes into kind of like the topic we're on, like in sickness and in health and in support. Yeah. And it
everything.
Like all of that. Like all of that ties in together, you know? Like just really just checking in and being there. Yep. Like literally being there. Yes. For the people that are close to you, you know?
But and if you don't know,
it is hard sometimes. And if you can't, like you said, and I'm big on communicating, That's a whole nother episode right there. Right. But say something. You know, it just don't let it don't let it linger on. You know, just say something, and they still, whoever they are, they still may feel some kind of way being their feelings, but just
at least acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Because you know when you should have been there and you weren't.
Yeah.
And acknowledging it is taking accountability.
Yes.
Accountability is huge for me.
Yeah.
Hurt me? Okay. We can get through it as long as you recognize the way in which you hurt me, and let's talk about it.
Let's talk about
it. I'm not one to really hold grudges, especially if I love you and you're my friend. We can get through pretty much anything.
Yep, same.
But when you don't acknowledge it and you go on about your business as if it didn't happen, that kind of eats away at kind of the foundation of our relationship.
Yeah.
Like one of my best friends was, again, when I lost my mom, we were young. Many years later, she apologized. That's all I needed.
Ain't that crazy? That's it.
That's all I needed.
That's it. Now, well,
no. You need a little more than that?
I need a little bit more. Okay, I'm sorry. I am sorry. I need just a little bit more. Like an apology and recognizing, like taking accountability. Like I need both of those hand in hand. You ain't just about to come and be like, yeah, girl, my bad. No. We ain't stopping right there.
Yeah,
okay?
No, she did. She went into detail of, this is, XYZ. I know you needed. Here go my dog.
Oh, me. Oh.
Like, I know you needed me for this. I wasn't this, and this.
Right.
And let's talk about it.
That, yes.
Yeah. No,
yes,
I agree.
For sure.
Like, you are not going to brush me off.
You're not just really like, girl, my bad.
What's really going to piss me off is saying, girl, I was busy. I'm about to reach to that phone and knock every tooth out, because what kind of busy were you? Now I know you were saying you had things going on when your friend lost somebody.
That's what I was gonna say. It depends. Those, like, that's a pet peeve of mine too. Yeah. I ain't gonna lie.
I need
hate
to know
that.
What was your busy?
Yeah.
I need to know a little bit now. Like, because we're friends, I know what your career is, and I know the multiple jobs that you hold. But not everybody's gonna know that.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, that I get accountability is important.
That's a pet peeve of mine too. It is.
Because everybody's busy.
Everybody has a different kind of busy.
They do.
And what we're not about to compare and contrast.
No.
My busy to yours.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
So.
So yes.
I get it.
Don't keep sickness and health at the marriage level.
Absolutely not.
And because if you've been friends with somebody for 20 years, that's a marriage right there.
Hello.
That's a true commitment.
That's a true commitment.
20 years. I've been friends with my friend Carmen since 2nd or 3rd grade. Now, we don't always talk consistently.
Right.
But I am dedicated to her. She can call me today and I'll be there.
Yeah.
She done went through many different things. I have too, and that's a commitment, just like a marriage is.
Yeah. All of my like my inner circle, since we were like 15, 16. Yeah. That is a commitment. That definitely is a commitment. And sometimes things fall off, but as long as you just kind of reel it back in, you know what I mean? So
one last thing before we move on. When you were saying how to show up or how to support somebody in sickness and health, I was watching. We were just talking about that B. Simone's podcast.
Ooh, yeah.
And her friend Ashley is going through. I don't know if she's divorced or going through, but B. Simone they were talking about how B. Simone was supporting Ashley in that time, or how Ashley wants to be supported. Because you were saying that just because I'm a person that is, we'll just say, gifts or communication or whatever the case may be, I may not want you to support me the way that I support others.
Yes.
So asking, hey, I know you're going through a divorce.
What do you need?
What do you need from me?
Yeah.
Because Now listen, I like food, but I don't need you to bring over a dish. You know what I mean? I don't need no, but some people
that is support.
That is support, because you see a lot of times people will bring food and so somebody doesn't have to cook. That's not really necessarily what I would want. I would want quality time.
I was just about to say,
sit with me for a minute.
Come sit,
chit chat,
and you know what? I might not even want you to talk to me.
That's right.
Just come sit. Just come sit.
Let's watch a movie, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important
to know how people need that support.
Not just assume.
Yeah.
And say, well, this is what I would want. Or just because I may, support you in this way doesn't mean that I want that back.
Exactly.
So communicate.
Now before we move on, I do want to ask you, how are you doing? Because I was on the phone with this one the other day.
I don't even know where this is going.
What's actually crazy, what's actually funny. The other day we were on the phone and I could tell she was having a day, but I was too. And I didn't have the capacity to be like, hey, what's wrong? Because girl, I'm having one too. So I can't be there for you when I need someone to be there or just whatever, and for all I know, it could have been just a crazy day at work. Because I know for me, it was just a crazy day at work. And I just I didn't feel like being bothered, but I knew like we had to talk about some stuff or whatever. But that day I was like, oh, something wrong with Jordan. I couldn't.
And
I
honestly,
apologize.
I can't. Oh, listen, you already know. Today, I'm good.
Okay.
And we just talked about that. My son, has different challenges that we're trying to work through.
Yeah.
And that it is hard for me to kind of. What I will say is hard for me, and Tam and I were just talking about that. I need to continue to work on being present for that one thing at that moment.
Yeah.
I'm trying to juggle being advocate for my son always, every day, be a wife.
This goes back to her overthinking too.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's hard for me sometimes. And so when something bothers me, it's deep.
Yeah.
A lot of things for me are deep for me. I'm an overthinker. I'm very empathetic too. Like if I work with somebody and somebody messed them up, I'm 9 times out of 10, I'm taking a little bit of that emotion with me.
Yeah.
Especially if I care about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now you done made me mad too.
Right. Like what? Who?
Now hold on. You done did what? Oh, okay. Now I'm upset. So, I just need to balance my energy a little bit better.
Yeah.
And let some things go. Let go, let God again on certain things. So today, I'm good.
Good.
How about you?
I'm good. Look, today. Today. I'm good.
Hey, and that's the truth.
If you would have maybe asked me a couple days ago, different story. But no, in general, I'm good. I'm doing good. It's work. It's like heavy season right now, so
it is.
It could be draining sometimes.
It can.
But yeah. But no, I just wanted to check in because the other day I was like, man, I know something's wrong, but I just can't.
I know, and that goes back to my point of don't feel. Feel bad because that's natural, but sometimes you just don't have the capacity because you do have your own life, and sometimes, you just can't have too much of high expectations for your friends in certain times.
Yeah.
In certain times, it's like, okay, high expectations, but in other times, it's like, okay, you have to have some understanding of why they may not be available at this very moment.
Yeah.
But talk about it.
Yeah. That's I think that's the key takeaway.
Definitely.
If you can't be there, just say something. Talk about it because there's going to be a reason.
There's going to be a reason.
It's going to be a reason, whether again you're going to feel some kind of way.
Yeah.
But at least you know the reason why.
That's right.
Instead of letting it build up and all that
and
stuff.
Now it's festering, and now you don't know why your friend ain't answering.
Right.
Why they not answering the phone?
Why weren't they there when I asked?
Why there's distance?
Why? Right.
Distance.
distance. Yeah.
Between you guys.
Yeah.
So anything else you want to touch on before we move to the shoot the shit part?
I mean, it was good.
Okay, yeah, that was good. So now we on to shoot the shit. And I think there's been things on social media about this recently. About when the plane lands. Wait your turn. If you are in seat 37 and you demosied all the way up to 5, and this person then because some airlines pay you, you got to pay extra,
right,
to get into a seat that's close to the exit. Mm-hmm. Don't come over here and try to cut me. I'm right here in my seat, and you right here waiting for the door to open.
And I've always felt like I've traveled a lot because my both my parents are in the military, so I'm a military brat, whatever. But like, you know, I've traveled a lot or often, and that's always been like my thing. Like, why? Where's everybody going? Because I can't go if you don't move, and then you don't move. Yeah.
And so I remember, for my friend Tiff, we went to Vegas, and when I say 37 or whatever, the 30 something, it was 2 young ladies wearing 30 something, and I was like, you know, 16 or something. Mm-hmm. They, as soon as the plane lands, you know, as soon as the seatbelt sign go off, they pop up and I'm literally sitting in the seat and they're right here, like up on me.
See.
And I'm thinking, now sometimes people do that because they got a connecting
flight
and have a little bit of time. So y'all done did all of that. Y'all done deboed your way up to the front. Guess where they was at? Baggage claim with me.
They just like, what's the point of doing that?
You rushed them debo everybody to be at baggage claim
with everybody else,
with everyone else.
Like you said, I get it if you have a connecting flight.
Sitting in the seat waiting for the buzzer to go off to let you know the bags was coming. Now tell me, why did you have to do that?
You know, maybe the airlines need to start doing something where, like, when they know a passenger has a connecting flight, like they know who those passengers are, and they're like, okay, you guys get up, and then everybody else, y'all just got to wait your turn.
But they used to. I remember being on a Southwest or Delta. I don't know. They don't do it every time. I remember they got on the overhead and said, whoever has a connecting flight, and they said the flight.
Yep.
Go ahead and let them off, let them get their baggage or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what they need to do is the flight attendant, you come through.
Yes.
Just like, what is it that they let, is it a wedding? Where they'll go to the row and they'll say rise. Oh, no, at church, communion.
Oh, communion at church, yeah.
They'll come to the aisle and say, come on, y'all go ahead.
Yeah.
And they go, come on, y'all go ahead. Yeah. That's what they need to do at the inside the airplane.
Direct a little bit more. Because besides that, if you just, look.
Wait your turn.
You push me.
Now
that's why all these fights is happening.
That's right.
And I mean, that's a whole nother thing. First off, people, I feel like, just don't know how to act anymore. They don't have manners. They're just not considerate. But if you push me, what? You at least gonna hear from me.
Listen,
okay? You're not just about to push me. I'm not gonna say nothing.
Now you're reaching up over me, getting your baggage, almost hitting me. You bringing it out because it's heavy. Mm-hmm. We're going through this whole dramatic scene about you trying to get off the plane for no reason at all.
Did you see there was this one guy, same thing, trying to get off the plane, and I don't quote me. I don't know. I don't know if he had a connecting flight or not.
Yeah.
But all I know, I saw a clip of him literally like pushing his way through. And I was like, there is no way.
Let me tell you
something. You did it to the right person. There's no way.
If you have somewhere to be, pay extra to be at the front of the plane.
Yeah.
If you're that important.
If you're that important.
Then get one of them seats that charge you extra $25.
Right.
Extra $15. Because I see even the exit rows, they charge you extra for that too. Mm-hmm. Get one of those seats that's right by the exit. Or tell the flight attendant, hey, I have an emergency.
That's
something. Communicate. But why are you putting your, not hands, but your elbow and all that on me?
Why are you putting a body part on me? Period.
And deboing me to get off the plane.
To go nowhere.
I think people, and this is not just on a plane, they don't have any concept of other people being around.
They don't.
Like, there's no, I'm looking for a word and I can't think of it, but it's almost like they don't care. This is
no manners.
This is all about me. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm about.
And people are, like, lately, people just so ready to fight.
Ready to fight on an airplane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We sitting like sardines.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of room or area or whatever. And then I think I just saw something on an airplane. A lady was getting off for whatever reason. She was getting kicked off the plane or removed from the plane. But while she's getting her things, it's a lady 3 seats behind cussing and screaming at the lady that's getting off. Now, the lady wasn't even saying nothing at the time, but the other lady behind, maybe 3 rows behind, going at it, saying stuff to her. Where are you at? Are we on the streets?
Right.
Because I paid $326 to get on this plane.
Hello?
Just like you did. And you think you better sit here and cuss and act a fool on the plane? Like, what happened to just being...
That is I hate to say the norm, but it's like, that's the norm now. Like, what? You really don't. You don't know what the heck's going to happen on the plane these days. When it used to be so just like, peaceful.
Speaking of wait your turn. So, again, same trip, Vegas. So, the Indy airport, bless their hearts. I said, who is managing this operation?
What happened?
So, from what I understand, the Indy airport eventually, you know, if you do TSA, you don't have to take your shoes off and all that. It's a different machine. So I'm thinking, me and Tiff, we had TSA. We don't have to take our shoes off, and normally you get through real quick.
Right.
Well, Indy is now changing all of their security to be like TSA, to where you don't have to take off your jacket, your shoes. Well, they decided to do this on a Friday.
Oh.
So we almost missed our flight. I say that because there are 30 more people that will almost miss their flight, and then everybody else that on these other flights. I'm not the only one that's disgruntled.
Right.
Yes, I'm upset too.
Yeah.
But you know, there always got to be that one person act like they flying private.
Yeah.
That their trip is the most important. So you know, when you put your stuff through the security conveyor belt thing, if I put my stuff in there before you think your stuff then hopped over mine and got into the line before mine? No.
Right.
So this disgruntled lady going off the whole entire time about, they're going to make me miss my flight. Why would y'all do that? In my mind, I'm thinking the same thing.
Right.
She cuts in front of me to wait for the stuff to come out of the conveyor belt.
She literally cuts. She doesn't act
I'm right here, and she squeezes in between the machine and me and looks her head in, you know, the little conveyor belt. I'm thinking, my stuff is gonna come out before yours.
Couldn't be me.
So you're gonna have to wait your turn. So I turned and I looked at her. She's like, I'm sorry. I just, I don't want to miss my flight. Meanwhile,
say that before you do it, because now you done already
pissed
me off. Excuse me. You done already. I'm considerate. If you'll be like, I'm so sorry. Do you mind if I? But Tam, I just might be like, you know what, that's fine.
There's absolutely no way that your stuff is gonna come out before mine, because I put mine in there before yours.
And I get that concept, but I'm still over the fact, like, you just gonna cut me and just not say nothing.
Cut me. Nah. Well, I mean, and she was a little lady, small petite lady, so she slipped right in. So I'm looking at her like, I don't know if she thinks her stuff is gonna come out.
Right.
So she eventually apologized, because she could see on my face, like, sis, if you don't get yourself together,
seriously,
there's a part of me that,
because you're just as frustrated.
I'm about to miss my flight too.
Yeah.
We in this together.
Hello. Yeah.
You're not going through a different experience than I am, okay? But I'm not gonna be rude to a stranger.
Right.
So she eventually apologized. But what I mean is, but all of this is like, please don't lose sight of you're in public. Please don't lose sight of, I don't want to experience all of you.
On a plane or off a plane, okay?
I don't even know you.
I don't know
if you are an aggressive person, if you just wilding, nobody wants to experience that, but whoever has experienced it in your personal life, don't bring that to the airport. Don't bring that. Keep it at home, or take the bus. I don't know, the train. If you don't do well in the airport, take another means of transportation. Because now you making everybody like,
right.
I'm just trying to have a good trip.
Mm-hmm.
So wait your turn on the damn airplane.
That's funny.
Have some sense.
Have some respect.
And respect that there are other people around you, and not everybody wants to experience the aggression or this disgruntled moment that you're having. Hold it in. Call your friend on the phone when you get outside the airport in the Uber or whatever. Talk to them about it.
People have gotten super bold,
but don't
these
ruin
days.
Everybody's experience.
Just ruin it, okay? I'm glad, Lord, thank you. I'm glad I have not experienced that.
But yeah. Well, this was a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
And
you didn't saw me tear up. Oh,
yes,
gosh.
we got into the emotions of it all, and that's what I love.
Expecting that, guys. Was not expecting that, but
that's all right. This is what this is all about.
No, that's true. Like that was, what we talked about. Obviously, it's deep to us, and as you saw, that was a real emotion. That was real emotion. So,
which it just goes to, this is what our intention is with this podcast, is bringing about real emotions, real conversation. So,
and these are, I mean, honestly, like this is how her and I talk. Like before we even started today's episode, we couldn't even start today's episode because we got into a whole nother topic, and we're like, okay, let's take a pause.
Hold on to it.
Let's let's get into some things. But no, this was a good episode. We hope that you guys enjoy it.
Yes.
Please like, comment, subscribe, all those things. All those things. And we hope that you come back and check out more episodes from us.
Please do.
So this is us signing off of No Tea,
Just Coffee.
Bye.
Bye.